ਵੈਲਕਮ ਟੂ ਦਿਸ ਐਪੀਸੋਡ ਆਫ ਦ ਹਰਪ੍ਰੀਤ ਸਿੰਘ ਸ਼ੋ। ਅੱਜ ਦੇ ਸੈਗਮੈਂਟ ਵਿੱਚ ਅਸੀਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਮੁਲਾਕਾਤ ਕਰਾਵਾਂਗੇ ਹੈਲਥ ਸੈਗਮੈਂਟ ਵਿੱਚ ਮਿਸਟਰ ਐਲਨ ਗਲੈਸਰ ਨਾਲ, ਜਿਹੜੇ ਕਿ ਇੱਕ ਫਾਰਮਾਸਿਸਟ ਹਨ ਅਤੇ UBC ਵਿੱਚ ਸਾਬਕਾ ਕਲੀਨਿਕਲ ਇੰਸਟਰਕਟਰ ਵੀ ਰਹੇ ਹੋਏ ਨੇ। ਅੱਜ ਇਸ ਵਿਸ਼ੇ 'ਤੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਕਰਨੀ ਹੈ, ਪਤਾ ਕਰੀਏ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਕੋਲੋਂ ਕਿ ਕਿਹੜੀ ਚੀਜ਼ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਏਜ ਕਰਦੀ ਹੈ, ਕਿਹੜੇ ਉਹ ਫੈਕਟਰਸ ਨੇ, ਅਤੇ ਸਾਇੰਸ ਕਿਸ ਪਾਸੇ ਕੰਮ ਕਰ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ, ਅਤੇ ਇਹ ਰਿਸਰਚ ਕਰ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਆਮ ਇੱਕ ਆਦਮੀ ਜੋ ਹੈ ਉਹ 100 ਸਾਲ ਤੋਂ ਵੱਧ ਦੀ ਵੀ ਉਮਰ ਜੀ ਸਕਦਾ ਹੈ। ਲੇਕਿਨ ਪਰ ਅੱਜ ਜੋ ਹਾਲਾਤ ਨੇ, ਅਸੀਂ ਸੁਣਦੇ ਤਾਂ ਹਾਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਬਜ਼ੁਰਗ ਸਾਡੇ 100 ਸਾਲ ਦੇ ਵੀ ਕੰਮ ਕਰਿਆ ਕਰਦੇ ਸੀ, ਤੰਦਰੁਸਤ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਸੀ, ਪਰ ਅੱਜ ਤਾਂ 25 30 35 ਸਾਲ ਤੋਂ ਹੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਵੇਖ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ ਕਿ ਇੱਕ ਵਿਅਕਤੀ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਆਪਣੇ ਆਪ ਨੂੰ ਡਿਪਲੀਟਡ ਮਹਿਸੂਸ ਕਰਦਾ ਹੈ, ਐਨਰਜੀ ਲੈਵਲ ਲੋ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ ਅਤੇ ਸਟ੍ਰੈਸਡ ਆਊਟ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਹੈਗਾ ਉਹ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ। ਕੀ ਅੱਜ ਸਾਇੰਸ ਦੇ ਜੋ ਕੁਝ ਕੰਮ ਕੀਤਾ ਜਾ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੈ ਉਸ ਨਾਲ, ਰਿਸਰਚ ਨਾਲ ਕੋਈ ਆਉਣ ਵਾਲੇ ਸਮੇਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਕੁਝ ਪਰਿਵਰਤਨ ਆਏਗਾ? ਆਓ ਇਸ ਬਾਰੇ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਐਲਨ ਗਲੈਸਰ ਨਾਲ। ਵੈਲਕਮ ਟੂ ਦ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ।
Thank you very much, Harpreet.
Thank you. Aging is a natural process. It has to happen. A child, a teenager, an elder, this is a part of life. But today what we are finding is that aging is becoming faster. What ages us?
That's a very good question, Harpreet. To me, the biggest factor of aging and why we get unwell, actually.
Mm-hmm.
There's actually a study just done that seniors, okay, the last 10 years of their life
mm-hmm.
will be spent in poor health.
Right.
So why is that? And yet there are some people who are 70 years old who looks like they're 90,
mm-hmm.
and unfortunately they pass from this earth very quickly.
Right.
And there are 90 years old who still look like they're 70.
Mm-hmm.
What's the difference? And that questions, I've asked that question myself in my
mm-hmm.
practice, because I see,
lots of people,
lots of seniors, and because they end up being on some medicine to help them.
Right.
In terms of people who seem to live the longest,
mm-hmm.
We know that they have less stress in their life. It all depends that.
Mm-hmm.
They probably don't smoke, very limited alcohol use, and they exercise and they eat right.
Mm-hmm.
So people have looked into this.
Right.
Okay, so number one thing
mm-hmm.
that they can tell about people who live longer is that when they start measuring, for example, antioxidant levels in the body.
Okay.
All right. And where do you get antioxidants from? Well, when you eat fresh and raw fruits and vegetables, all those raw products
right.
are filled with antioxidants.
Okay.
And the reason you'd say, well, what are they anti to? Well, what happens in our body, that even as the body breathes,
mm-hmm.
even as the energy is produced in our body, it's called ATP production.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a chemical little engine in there that always produces energy. It throws off molecules that lack electrons.
Mm-hmm.
So it sucks up an electron from the environment in the cell. If it happens to suck up this electron from your DNA, that's like your computer program on how to run the cell. It
mm-hmm.
just got screwed up. Like someone mistyped the letter when you do a computer program. If you've ever done that, you know the program doesn't run.
Right.
When there's one problem.
Mm-hmm.
Like how many times has your computer crashed when some program got screwed up, right? We all experienced that, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So when free radicals damage the instruction manual on how to run the cell,
mm-hmm.
that causes many problems. We know free radical damage causes cancer. We know that free radical damage can lead to diabetes, heart disease,
right,
and actually aging. Some of your aging process, because of this damage in the cell,
mm-hmm.
it leads to these things.
Right.
When we can increase your antioxidant level.
Okay, so before how to increase it, you talked about measuring the antioxidant level. Is it possible to measure antioxidants?
Yes, it is. Now it used to be very difficult to do this.
Mm-hmm.
You used to draw blood, and then you go in the lab, and it would take 48 hours, and you'd measure.
Right.
It's called your carotenoid score. There's a class of antioxidants that you get from, fresh fruits and vegetables. The ones that are colored,
mm-hmm.
Think of it: peppers, red, green,
right.
whatever. Purple,
mm-hmm.
Eggplant and zucchinis and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. The tomatoes. We're
Right.
talking about lycopene. These just might be names to you: lycopene, lipoic acid, xanthine, lutein, this type of thing, beta carotene.
Right.
All these, come like carrots. Anyways, those are sources. That's what we can measure, and then when we draw that, at the same time they've done tests. They measured actually in the urine. You can measure degradation products of free radicals.
Okay.
Free radicals do damage,
Right.
and then you pee it out. And when they measure it, if they've found that when your antioxidant level is low, because
Right.
you can measure either by blood or we'll soon get a skin test, it's guaranteed that your free radicals are high, and you measure that by the free radical damage that you find in urine. So today, it was the particular technology we use today was actually discovered in 1930 by Dr. Raman.
Okay.
It's called Raman spectroscopy, and it's as simple as now we can shine a light. It's a blue light
Okay.
into the palm of your hand. You then measure the intensity at which the light comes back out. It's changed the color. So
Okay.
these carotenoids, the chemicals I just mentioned, are sitting in the palm of your hand. You're actually getting what you did 6 weeks ago, not what
Okay.
you're doing today. The blood test tells you what you're doing today. But when we measure the palm of your hand,
Right.
it tells you what you're doing 6 weeks ago. I mean, you could get the same thing, but you'd have to literally slice the tissue out, go to the lab, extract out all the carotenoids, and say, oh yeah, that's what your number is.
Right.
Okay? Well, now we can do it painless
Right.
and literally in as short time as 30 seconds. The newest machine
Okay.
will do it in 30 seconds. The older ones do it in about 90 seconds.
Right.
And we'll find out what your antioxidant score is.
Okay, we'll go for a small break, come back, and when we talk about the antioxidant level, every body must be having a different antioxidant level. So what is the, in general terms, if we talk, what antioxidant level you consider to be good, what is bad and what is good? We'll talk about this after this break. ਹੁਣ ਤੱਕ ਜੋ ਐਲਨ ਗਲੇਸਰ ਨਾਲ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਕੀਤੀ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਦੱਸਿਆ ਹੈਗਾ ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਏਜਿੰਗ ਦਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਪ੍ਰੋਸੈਸ ਹੈਗਾ ਇੱਕ ਤੇ ਨੈਚੁਰਲ ਪ੍ਰੋਸੈਸ ਹੈ, ਲੇਕਿਨ ਅੱਜ ਬਹੁਤ ਸਾਰੇ ਕਾਰਨਾਂ ਕਰਕੇ, ਪੋਲਿਊਸ਼ਨ ਕਰਕੇ, এনवायरमेंट ਵਿੱਚ ਜੋ ਕੁਝ ਹੋ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੈ, ਸਾਡੇ ਖਾਣ ਪੀਣ, ਸਾਡੇ ਲਾਈਫਸਟਾਈਲ ਕਾਰਨ ਐਂਟੀਆਕਸੀਡੈਂਟ ਲੈਵਲ ਘਟ ਜਾ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੈਗਾ। ਕਿਵੇਂ ਪੂਰਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ? ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਹਰੀਆਂ ਸਬਜ਼ੀਆਂ ਜਾਂ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਫਰੂਟਸ ਵੈਜੀਟੇਬਲਸ ਵੱਖਰੇ ਵੱਖਰੇ ਰੰਗਾਂ ਦੇ ਖਾਂਦੇ ਹਾਂ, ਉਸ ਨਾਲ ਸਾਡੇ ਸਰੀਰ ਵਿੱਚ ਆਕਸੀਡੈਂਟਸ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਨੇ ਉਹ ਵੱਧ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਨੇ, ਐਂਟੀਆਕਸੀਡੈਂਟਸ, ਤੇ ਫ੍ਰੀ ਰੈਡੀਕਲਸ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸਰੀਰ ਨਾਲ ਉਸ ਦਾ ਮੁਕਾਬਲਾ ਕਰਦੇ ਨੇ। ਪਰ ਨਾਲ ਹੀ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਸੀ ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਮੈਜਰ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਐਂਟੀਆਕਸੀਡੈਂਟਸ ਨੂੰ। ਤਾਂ ਮੈਂ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਪੁੱਛਿਆ ਕਿ ਕਿਹੜੀ ਕੋਈ ਤਕਨੀਕ ਹੈ, ਤੇ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਪਹਿਲੇ ਸਮੇਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਬਲੱਡ ਨੂੰ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਟੈਸਟ ਕਰਾ ਕੇ ਪਤਾ ਚੱਲ ਸਕਦਾ ਸੀ, ਲੇਕਿਨ ਹੁਣ ਮਸ਼ੀਨਾਂ ਰਾਹੀਂ ਇੱਕ ਨੀਲੇ ਰੰਗ ਦੀ ਲਾਈਟ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਹੈ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਪਾਮ ਤੇ ਰੱਖੀ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਹੈ, ਤੇ ਉਸ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਪਤਾ ਚੱਲ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਹੈਗਾ, ਜਿਹੜੀ ਵਾਪਸ ਲਾਈਟ ਆਉਂਦੀ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਐਂਟੀਆਕਸੀਡੈਂਟ ਲੈਵਲ ਕੀ ਹੈ। ਲੈਣੇ ਇੱਕ ਬ੍ਰੇਕ, ਵਾਪਸ ਆਉਂਦੇ ਹਾਂ। ਕਿਹੜਾ ਐਂਟੀਆਕਸੀਡੈਂਟ ਲੈਵਲ ਮਾੜਾ ਹੈ, ਚੰਗਾ ਹੈ, ਖਰਾਬ ਹੈ, ਇਸ ਬਾਰੇ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਇਸ ਬ੍ਰੇਕ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ। Once again, welcome back to the program. ਐਲਨ ਗਲੇਸਰ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਕਿ ਇੱਕ ਫਾਰਮਾਸਿਸਟ ਨੇ, ਉਹ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਦੱਸ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ ਕਿ ਏਜਿੰਗ ਪ੍ਰੋਸੈਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਐਂਟੀਆਕਸੀਡੈਂਟ ਲੈਵਲ ਕਿੰਨੇ ਕੁ ਚੰਗੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਨੇ, ਕਿੰਨੇ ਮਾੜੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਨੇ, ਤੇ ਫ੍ਰੀ ਰੈਡੀਕਲਸ ਨਾਲ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਮੁਕਾਬਲਾ ਕਰਨਾ ਉਸ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਇਹ ਐਂਟੀਆਕਸੀਡੈਂਟ ਦਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਲੈਵਲ ਹੈ ਕਿੱਥੇ ਹੋਣਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਜਿਸ ਨਾਲ ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਸਵਸਥ ਮਹਿਸੂਸ ਕਰ ਸਕਨੇ ਹਾਂ। So before the break, like you were talking about the antioxidant level, so what level is good? How can you, like you have measured with that machine, but after that, how do you come to know what is good and what is bad?
Well, that's a very good question. Now, as seen in Dr. Oz, where he measured his whole audience, it was really interesting, the kind of results.
Right.
He measured 80% of them, and you can take a look at that video clip right now. 80% of his audience actually scanned in, if we do antioxidants like in school, A, B, C, D, and F.
Right.
When you got a D or an F, that's actually a failing grade.
Okay.
And nobody likes to fail.
Right.
What's the consequences of getting a failing grade in your antioxidant level? Well, one, we know that from previous studies, when you have a low antioxidant level, you probably have a high free radical level. That means damage is being done to your cells.
Okay.
That doesn't mean tomorrow you're going to drop dead. It's not saying that.
Right.
That means you are at much higher risk for, cancer, heart disease, diabetes, arthritis, and rapidly aging.
Okay.
We discussed the reason why. Because actually there's a little picture in here that here's the human cell,
Right.
right? And it's got little mitochondria, energy is being made. And as it just living, you create these free radicals. You've got to have these good antioxidants in your body to get rid of them. Otherwise, they do damage, right? And they damage the nucleus of the cell, the cell that, where the DNA is, where your mitochondria are working. It's really important. That's why it's important to have a high antioxidant level.
Okay.
Because it's really simple. If you don't have a high antioxidant level, if you're not scoring, basically in the A or B range, Dr. Oz says the goal of everyone should be 40,000 and up to be in the good or the optimal range.
Okay.
Because that gives you the most protection against this very destructive free radicals. And free radicals, the body needs to pick up this electron, right? Because it's got to get rid of these free radicals. It must. They do damage. So it actually oxidizes cholesterol. Because one of the questions I've always had is, if we can reduce your cholesterol level down to normal, the normal 50% of the people, 50% at normal cholesterol die of a heart attack. Okay, what's going on? You can bring your cholesterol level down, but the damage gets done by free radical damage. It sucks up an electron from your cholesterol. It's circulating in the blood. Once that's oxidized, it gloms onto the artery walls and then causes this blockage. It's a long-term process, but in the end, it shortens our life.
Okay. So now you have measured your antioxidant level, and you have talked about eating green vegetables or flavored, different flavors of vegetables and fruits, right?
Yes.
But on the other hand, we find out that these vegetables and pesticides are, lots of pesticides and insecticides are on that. So is there any other way by which we can, increase our antioxidant level?
Yeah, there is. You need to take particular supplements. So you've got to be looking for supplements that are high in those lists of antioxidants. If you look up carotenoids, high in carotenoids. You've heard of vitamin C. You've heard of vitamin E. You've heard of selenium. You're talking about lipoic acid, lycopene. All these other antioxidants are really important to your health. The biggest question I have always had in the back of my mind, how do I know that the supplements I'm buying or I'm selling work? Well, that's where this antioxidant scanner that we saw in the Dr. Oz show works. And I do have one in store at Mark's Pharmacy, 80th and Scott Road, to help determine what your level of antioxidants are. We can then put you on your choice of what particular supplements you go on. It all depends on how much you want to spend.
So
to help you out.
Absolutely. So basically now there are various means by which you can increase the level of your antioxidant level. But on the other hand, when you talk about the genes, because what you're talking about, the cell, all the genes, they are not right. So can those genes be also reset?
That's right. You and I, we have the same set of genes we had when we were born. But I don't look like I have a baby face anymore. I don't think you do either. So what's happened? It's called different gene expression. So we know that when the hormones start to flow, you change. You go from a child to an adult, and you go through puberty. So the question is, what changed? Okay, so the genes got a different message. What was expressed by the genes changed. The beauty of it is today there is a technology. We have mapped the human gene in 2003, which means we know where all the genes are. We now have computer power, and we found something called gene chips, that if you look at a series of genes, and we know its structure, we then go into nature, and we look at the shape of the nutrients from natural products fit like a key into a lock to unlock the correct gene expression. So there's a product, if you take a look at just the energy in our life, that as we age, we seem to get tired. It's easier. Like when you're 20, you can party all day and night, and you seem to survive. And if you're 60, you don't. You just can't do that. You fall asleep. So here's the thing. What's different between the 20-year-old and the 60-year-old? It's called gene expression. Specifically, in the energy cell of our body, the mitochondria, the energy level is turned back and doesn't work as well as the 20-year-old. Well, there's a company who makes the scanner, has developed a product, and it's called Vitality, that is able with their technology, we've mapped the mitochondria,
Okay.
its gene expression, and it shows that the difference between a 20-year-old gene expression and a 60-year-old.
Right.
We can now, if you take the supplement, Vitality, if you want to show, there's a mouse video that shows a 98-year-old mouse. These are identical mice in this little short clip, and one is on the supplement and one is not. And you can just take a guess. Literally, you'll see it in 10 seconds.
Right.
Now, after looking at this mouse video, what happens? I want to be the 98-year-old mouse.
Right.
That's taken the supplement, so I have lots of energy. And it's called a heat map. I can get you, I'll get you a picture. Cut this. That it shows you can get 92% of the same kind of gene expression in the 60-year-old as you do in the 20-year-old when you take this supplement.
Wow, that's great. Technology is having lots of good impact also as far as both sides of the coin. Thank you very much for this information.
Thank you.
ਸੋ ਅੱਜ ਐਲਨ ਗਲੇਸਰ ਨੇ ਜੋ ਸਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਕੀਤੀ ਐਂਟੀਆਕਸੀਡੈਂਟਸ ਦੇ ਸੰਬੰਧ ਵਿੱਚ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਅੱਜ ਸਾਇੰਸ ਦੇ ਇਸ ਨਵੀਂ ਮਸ਼ੀਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਕਾਢ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਐਂਟੀਆਕਸੀਡੈਂਟ ਲੈਵਲ ਵੀ ਪਤਾ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ ਤੇ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਵੀਡੀਓ ਦੇਖੀ ਉਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਵੀ ਵਿਖਾਇਆ ਗਿਆ ਕਿ ਕਿਸ ਤਰੀਕੇ ਨਾਲ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਦਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਐਂਟੀਆਕਸੀਡੈਂਟ ਲੈਵਲ ਹੈ ਬਹੁਤ ਥੱਲੇ ਗਿਆ ਹੋਇਆ ਹੈ। ਸਪਲੀਮੈਂਟਸ ਰਾਹੀਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇਸ ਨੂੰ ਉੱਤਾ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ ਤੇ ਨਾਲ ਹੀ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਦੱਸਿਆ ਕਿ ਜੀਨਸ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਨੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਰੀਸੈਟ ਕੀਤਾ ਜਾ ਸਕਦਾ ਹੈ। ਇਹਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਵੀ ਅੱਜ ਮਸ਼ੀਨਾਂ ਆ ਚੁੱਕੀਆਂ ਨੇ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਕਿ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਤੰਦਰੁਸਤ ਰੱਖਣ ਵਿੱਚ ਸਹਾਈ ਹੋ ਸਕਦੀਆਂ ਨੇ।